What's going on, you guys? My name is the Raptor, and as you can see, I have my recording equipment set up for, reaction videos and stuff like that. But this isn't really a reaction video. I don't know if I'm even gonna put in the playlist. I might or I might not. But this is more of like a special event or more of like an acknowledgement video because what's in front of us right now is like the coolest thing I've ever seen in my entire life. So for those of you guys who don't know who Lucas Green is, I brought him up a number of times on the channel, but in case you don't know who he is, he's a guy that's been helping me out with Who, When, and Why for a very long time. He suggested a lot of the early episodes for Who, When, and Why. He's done a lot of research for Who, When, and Why. He's made every single thumbnail for it as well, which is really awesome. So, he's helped me out a lot in all of those areas. And it looks like what he's done, I've actually already seen this, like, I've already seen this entire video, so I basically already know what's going on here. But I kind of wanted to share it with you guys as well because this is just so freaking cool. And this was done on a live stream before, but in case you guys haven't seen it, for the almost 4 years that Who, When, and Why has been going forward, Lucas Green has been going into Minecraft and he's been making every single Who, When, and Why fight, like every single character from every single Who, When, and Why fight out of Minecraft. And this is just a little glimpse right here, like we don't get any close-ups of any of the characters yet, but I think you can tell right now that this already looks absolutely insane. Like, it must have taken a ridiculously long time to do all of this, even just accumulatively, you know what I'm trying to say, doing all of that, because, like, oh my god, so many characters. Like, just doing the math, there were over 100 episodes, and each fight has at least 2 characters. That's well over 200 characters, because he did repeat characters too, like he had to make Batman like a billion different times, and this is ridiculous. Like, even just, with a background, just having all the characters out there, just on their own is insane. Like, look at this army we have. So there is like audio in the video as well, during the live stream. I'm not going to play the audio for this video just because there's a lot of like specific Who, When, and Why lore which could get kind of confusing. Also, like, the live stream talk back and forth, but if you want to get the full experience of Lucas's video, click the link in the description below because it will take you to that. But basically what we're gonna do, if we just play this, what we're gonna do is we're gonna kind of just take a look at the whole world, as he does a lot of zoom-ins on the individual characters. So we'll go through a lot of the characters and just see, all of them. So if we just skip ahead a little bit, here we have Joker and Green Goblin, the first ever fight. They already look really good. I especially like Green Goblin. So there's that. That's really awesome. And again, I'm gonna have to skip forward a little bit because there's some talking bits. But yeah, and then basically, yeah, like he does it by season as well. Like this whole row that we have here, like next up is Black Cat and Catwoman. This whole row right here is just the entire first season, which I believe had, yeah, they didn't have any battle royales or anything like that. So that would have been 20 different models here. So that was Black Cat, that's Catwoman, and then even next we have Green Goblin and Hobgoblin. I actually really like Hobgoblin. I think he did him really rather well. And there's Bane with his arms in the air and Juggernaut. My god, what a fight that was. And then Batman and Superman, the first special episode ever. These are all such great quality. Like, as we go through them, I'm going to go over, like, which ones I really like. But I really like all of them. Like, I'm just going, like Taskmaster looks great. Even Azrael looks great. Like, they all look insane to me. Some of them, of course, I like more than others, but all of them look really good. Like, I've never played Minecraft before. I don't know how long it takes someone to do something like this. There's Ghost Rider and there's Terminator as well, our good old Arnold. Captain America and Deathstroke, still one of my favorite episodes, even though it was a really early one. I don't know how long it would take to actually do something like all of this, but I can't imagine it would take a short amount of time. Star-Lord and Han Solo, and then Cap and Iron Man, first season finale ever. That was really cool. But yeah, I can't imagine that it would take any sort of short amount of time to do all of these, like over 200 models. I didn't want to do the math for everyone, but over 200 different characters. That would have had to take a ridiculously long time to do all of that. And then we go back to the beginning and then we're at the second season. So technically the first one of the second season was Thor versus Green Lantern, and the second one was Predator versus Kraven. He got it mixed up a little bit, but it's still fine. Like, they still look insane. Thor looks really good. I like how he's just holding up his hammer. And there's Lizard, and then Man-Bat. That was a good one. Venom and Carnage, one of the more popular ones. That actually kind of surprised me. And then we have Scarlet Witch and Raven. I think they both look really good. Spider-Man will be returning for the next season, Scarlet Spider. And then there's Dry Bowser versus Eggman Nega. That was a really weird one. I'm not sure if that's one I would actually do nowadays, since they're like very specific versions, especially Dry Bowser. Because I usually don't like doing that where like I would kind of like use one aspect of it. Where I would just like I would want to use Bowser, you know, not just Dry Bowser. And there we have Electro. I think actually we have to skip ahead a little bit because he turns around. So yeah, there's Electro, and then that's Electrocutioner right over there. And if it gets a little confusing, you know, obviously like you would see the back sides of the other characters, or I guess just them reflected. So then there's Electrocutioner, and then there's Nemesis and versus the Shadow, you know, the first ever Who, When, and Why fan character episode. Of course, Shadow, or the Shadow is all black. And then we have Civil War, all the characters, all the MCU versions of Civil War. So that was Iron Man and Black Widow, and then War Machine. Black Panther looks insane. All these things, like so much detail too. Again, I've never done anything like this before. And then Tom Holland Spider-Man with a tiny spider and Vision, and then Captain America. But this would have had to take so long. And you can see the rest of the characters down there. Just skip ahead a little bit. You know, Bucky, Falcon, Hawkeye, Scarlet Witch, and then Ant-Man. I really like Ant-Man down there. I think he really nailed the helmet there. And then, of course, we have to go all the way back. Just skipping ahead a little bit. So then there we have Crash and Spyro. The first Who and Why I ever made to actually be confirmed by Death Battle to be correct, so that was great. Batman and Moon Knight, of course, you know, they have to make Batman again. And then Green Goblin comes back for Venom, you know, the whole Spider-Man arch nemesis fight. That was really interesting. We just skip ahead a little bit. Then what was after that? Then it was Ben 10 versus Beast Boy. They both look good. I really like Ben 10, actually. And he comes back again to fight Iron Man. Again, they both look really good. And the Omnitrix right there. That's good. And then Batman versus Iron Man, episode number 25. And like Goku versus Superman on Death Battle, the 50th one was a rematch of the 25th episode, which was actually really interesting. Something I didn't notice at first. Then we got Lizard and Killer Croc. Lizard comes back. I think I actually like that Lizard a little better. And then Dragon Man and Rhino. Rhino especially, I really, really like. What else we got? Then that's Nemesis again versus my character, Sinister Strange. He actually based that, the Sinister Strange that he made right there, he based it off of his own show that he makes on YouTube, the Linksy series, because Sinister Strange became a character on the Linksy series, and it looks like this. So I think that's a really nice touch. And then we have Carnage again with a T-1000. They both look good. Carnage again with the whole like tendril stuff. It must have, like, that's just extra work, you know? You got to appreciate that. And then he made each individual Spider-Man. Like, that's Tobey Maguire's Spider-Man. The next one is Andrew's, again, with the bigger eyes, the bigger white eyes. And then you have Tom's over there with the smaller black spider insignia. You know, so it's little things like that, which I think are really cool. And we're only like, what, 3/10 of the way done? Not even, because there are like more battle royales to come and stuff. And already, like, this is blowing my mind. I've already seen this, but just like watching it again, seeing all of the characters done with such fine detail. Holy crap, you know? And all these things, like, I have to think, you know, when I see a fight, I'm like, yeah, I did that. Like, that's a fight that happened. And that's so cool right there. And then we get into the Halloween season. I think the Halloween season is still like one of my more favorite early seasons, just because I think the fights are so cool. Like, we have already Scarecrow and Mysterio. We have Scarecrow with the pitchfork. That's just a nice touch, you know? And even just like the different materials, like it's well thought out, like with the glass and stuff for Mysterio. Then there's Morbius. His movie's getting pushed back, which kind of sucks. I was excited. And that was versus Solomon Grundy. And then it's Blade versus Buffy. That was a really cool fight to do. It was awesome to bring Buffy onto the show. And then after that, zoom in on Buffy. And then after that, Man-Bat comes back to fight Man-Wolf. That's really cool. That was a fight that, you know, it actually worked out much better than I thought it was going to. Man-Bat versus Man-Wolf. And then the second fight ever to be confirmed by Death Battle that I did, you know, Spider-Man 2099 versus Batman Beyond. That was great. Obviously, they did it in a different order than I did, but still. Then Green Goblin versus Demo Goblin. Really nice with Demo Goblin, I think. And then Black Mask versus Red Skull. That was another popular one that I didn't think would be as popular. And then you have Green Goblin. And then we have Jack-O-Lantern with, like, freaking moving fire on his head. Again, I've never played Minecraft, so maybe this is, like, very normal. Regardless, though, I just think, again, like, the whole material choices for all the characters look so good. And, of course, like, we have Ghost Rider, like, 3 times. So we would have already seen Ghost Rider with that. And then that's Michael Myers versus Sam. That's awesome. And then look at the Heath Ledger Joker, like when he moves over. Look at that Heath Ledger Joker. That's insane. That looks insane. And the Jack Nicholson one looks good too. Like, they both look pretty bang on. But it's just because, you know, the whole Heath Ledger thing, I think, is harder to pull off really well. Like, holy crap, that looks good. But yeah, like, and again, like the moving fire, there was Human Torch you saw right there, which we'll get to. Human Torch comes up twice. But yeah, this is insane, man. And then, like, we'll just wait until... And then, like, Mr. Freeze, again, with the whole, like, glass thing, that looks great. Like, his face looks like what Mr. Freeze's face normally looks like, and how, like, it's a little translucent, versus Captain Cold. And then you have Iceman. Good way to do Iceman. Just like Human Torch, you could either have him, like, fully ice or fully human, or like, partly ice, you know, or partly human. I think they did it well. And that was Killer Frost that he fought. And then that's Frosty and Rudolph. I think Rudolph looks so cute. I think he looks really good with the red nose. And then that's, first I thought that was Spectre, but no, that's Ragman and Ragdoll. Spectre was never on the show. Not yet anyway. Who knows? Anything's possible. And then we have Nightwing versus Red Hood versus Red Robin. Still one of my favorite Battle Royale fights. That's going to happen, or that's not going to happen, that's already happened. Nightwing looks really good especially, and Red Robin. I like how he did Red Robin. And this is the Christmas one, which is still my least favorite season, but there were still some good fights in there, I feel. And then there was Grinch versus Krampus, which will be next, 20 moves over. Yep, Grinch versus Krampus. Insane. But like Krampus, I think he did really well. And Grinch just looks so upset because that's how he starts off, and that makes sense. And then let's see, next we got Iceman, and who was that? Blizzard, right? That's like a lesser-known Iron Man villain. And then if you never saw that one, and then that's Jack Frost from Rise of the Guardians versus Killer Frost. Second time Killer Frost came on the show, 2 times in one season. Same with Iceman, yeah. That was odd. There were some repeating characters because, you know, Christmas is hard to do. And then there's Frozone versus Elsa. I like how Elsa looks. She's so short. And then we got Batman versus Iron Man 2, which is really cool. Again, it looks very similar to Batman versus Iron Man, but that's to be expected. Although in that one, we specifically limited Iron Man to just one suit, which I'm still not so happy with. But, you know, whatever. Then we go back, and then we got Bullseye. Every time I see Bullseye, I'm thinking, like, is that Captain America? But no, that's Bullseye. Still looks really good. And then, excuse me, and then that's Deadshot. I like the way they made, like, the red glass eye. That looks good. Let's see what else we got. That was a good fight, I feel. And then we got Perry with the beak. And he's like, it's funny to think, like, Perry's, like, as tall as Deadshot here. That's really funny. He still looks good. And then we got Skipper. Like, he's smiling a little bit. You know, whereas Perry's more serious. That's really reminiscent of the thumbnail, even. And then, who is after that? That's Winter Soldier, the comic version of Winter Soldier versus Red Hood. Red Hood came back to fight Winter Soldier. A really good fight, I feel. One I really want to see Death Battle do. And then there's Blue Beetle versus Rex from Generator Rex. And then we got Michael Keaton Batman, Christian Bale Batman, and Ben Affleck Batman. Again, he made them individually, like, each one with specific traits. Like, again, with the Bale one, like, of course, he'd have to be way more black. And that one, the Affleck one, looks closest to the comics, which makes sense, you know? So I just think it looks so cool. And I'm sure I could have done the Batman one better nowadays, but I still don't have too many regrets with that one, honestly. I'm still pretty confident in my choice. Then there's Hulk versus Flash, pure strength versus pure speed, of course. I really like the way Flash looks. And these might be the only times Flash and Hulk ever come on the show, but who knows. And then we got Arkham Knight. Looks really spot on from the game. Versus Red X. You know, like kind of like the two mystery... Well, Red X, not Red X. Arkham Knight wasn't always a mystery, but still. And then we got Batman Beyond versus RoboCop. I see it's like more the original RoboCop, which makes sense. That's like the one I was using, the one that was in the thumbnail. Both look really good. We've already seen Batman Beyond, but they both look really good. And then next up, if you can already tell, it's Godzilla versus the Powerpuff Girls. If we can just skip ahead a little bit. If he starts to move on. Oh, overshot a little bit. Just give it a sec. Yeah, Godzilla and then the Powerpuff Girls, they're all the same size and they all look spot on. And then if you could see down there, Thanos and Darkseid, holy crap, they look good. Especially Darkseid. Well, again, all of these guys look so good, but especially Darkseid looks insane and Thanos looks insane too. I like how he specifically didn't put the Infinity Gauntlet because I still don't believe in using Thanos with the Infinity Gauntlet in a versus debate. Because to me, it's just too external from him, you know? And then we keep going. Then we got Batman and Daredevil. Batman's like, what is it, like the 6th time he's there, not including the Royale. I actually not even sure. I lost track. And then we got Deathstroke versus Raiden. Raiden looks really unique, and Deathstroke looks good too. I like how it's like there's still like, you know, part of his eye like on the other side, like there's like the little black dots, but it doesn't make a full eye. So that looks good. And then we got Sonic and Quicksilver. I really like the way Sonic turned out. Again, it's weird thinking like he's taller than Quicksilver here, even though he's only like 3'3". And then Ben 10 again still looks good, and versus Iron Man. You know, multiple powers and all that. And then next up, we got Ghost Rider. We have like 2 Ghost Riders very close to each other. But in this one, it's Ghost Rider versus Spawn, which was the mid-season finale of this season. We're on season 7 now, I believe. Yeah, we're definitely season 7. So that's Ghost Rider, and that's Spawn. Spawn is pretty perfect. I would say Spawn is perfectly done. And then next up, we have Deathstroke again. And if I recall, yes, it was Shredder. Shredder looks really good. And if I recall, we have another Ninja Turtles character coming up this season, Splinter, but that's a little bit down the line. And then we got Sandman. So it looks like, yeah, as I was talking about with, what was it, Human Torch versus Iceman, you can kind of have like part ice / or part fire, or all ice or all fire. Here it looks like he's gone part sand, whereas Clayface is like full clay, which is interesting. I think that's a really, you know, it definitely brings out some variety, which is really cool. If we just keep going. Okay, we're moving again. So yep, Sandman with sandy fists and hair. Again, like the whole texture thing, it really shows, you know, and it just adds to it. And like the whole like highlights and lowlights with the definition. There's Bane again versus Johnny Cage. But yeah, the whole like low highlights and lowlights, like they didn't have to do that, but like it makes it just pop so much more, you know. And like I said, I've said this a billion times. I don't know how easy, he's just comparing it to the other Bane with his arms in the air. I don't know how easy it would be to make these, but I'm certainly not that talented visually, you know? So this kind of stuff just blows my mind. Like even the one, like I do think they're all great, but even the ones that I don't think are like, you know, perfect or whatever, you know, I still think they're great, and I still think it would have taken so much time to make it, you know? But they're all insane. Like there's Splinter, and the next would be Shifu. Just skip ahead a little bit. We'll skip back a little bit. So yep, there's Johnny Cage looking all cool with sunglasses. And then there's Splinter. There's Shifu. I think Shifu would be shorter, but again, like the whole height thing doesn't really matter here. And then Sentry versus Superman. Still one of my favorite season finales. With my favorite season finale still probably being Thanos versus Darkseid, most likely. Although, then again, Bugs versus Mickey was still pretty good. The introduction of the new style. And then we have Tobey Maguire Spider-Man versus Tom Holland Spider-Man for that rematch, which is awesome. And again, you know, same models, the same Tobey Maguire model versus the same Tom Holland model. Looks good. And then next we have Batman versus Black Panther. That's right. Black Panther actually looks a lot like Killmonger here, but he's still done really well. Black Panther does have some gold sometimes, so that still looks good. Season 8, still probably my favorite season, even though season 10 is still probably the technically the best one done, like in terms of just like editing and stuff. I still think season 8 is really great. It's hard to judge seasons because some of them are just better than others, you know, like in certain ways. Not one season outdoes another season in every single aspect, you know? So it's hard sometimes to judge seasons. And Black Panther vs. Batman is still one of my favorites. Sorry, I have no idea when to skip ahead and when not to. And then, yeah, Batman vs. Black Panther, maybe my favorite episode. I don't even remember. And then we got Poison Ivy versus Killer Frost. Killer Frost coming back again. Scorpion looks more like classic Scorpion, which is really nice, versus Ghost Rider. Ghost Rider comes back. He's there for a third time. And then next up, we have the Fantastic Four Battle Royale. That was definitely an interesting one. That's a fight that I've had on my mind for like so many years. And it's interesting because like I do definitely like still agree with my own reasoning, but their powers are so different that it's so hard sometimes to like really wrap your head around what would happen in that kind of fight. But that's a fight like I've talked about with my brother for like years and years. And yeah, it's great that, you know, I finally have a concrete answer for myself. Let's just keep going. Like Mr. Fantastic with a stretchy neck. Then we have Invisible Woman there. And then Human Torch. You know, they all have the 4, and I like how Human Torch's 4 is yellow, you know, just like his eyes. And then we have Ben Grimm, the Thing. And then we have Beast Boy again versus Reptile. Mega Man X versus Blue Beetle coming back again. And then we have Thor and Shazam. Shazam looks really good, and Thor, again, just like Thor versus Green Lantern, looks really rather good. I don't want to undersell how much like this is awesome, you know? Like at this point I'm still just going through the characters as they go. Regardless though, like I still like want you guys to see like how impressive this is. Green Lantern versus Nova. I don't know if you guys have done anything like this, like in any sort of capacity, but this still is just insane to me, this whole thing. And again, for all the episodes, at least 200 models, definitely well over that, you know? I could try to do the math, but I don't want to because I can't even remember specifically how many battle royales there were and how many you know, team. Well, I know there were 3 team battles, but I don't know. Regardless, it's a lot, you know. 100 episodes of anything is a lot. And then we got Dr. Octopus, and then we got the rest of the Sinister Six versus all the Secret Six. Like we got Electro, excuse me. And yeah, for the Sinister Six, all the characters were returning characters from past Who, When, and Why episodes, except for Doc Ock. We had to put Doc Ock in there, of course. But yeah, that's really how we chose the Sinister Six. Because I don't think this was actually a Sinister Six that existed in the comics, but we kind of wanted to do something special, you know? So that's why we have it. So it's Doc Ock, Electro, Sandman, and then it's Rhino, Kraven, and Mysterio. So we'll skip over a little bit. Yep, Rhino still looks good. Kraven, I think, you know, like they really nailed his facial hair. And Mysterio. And then it was, that's Ragdoll again, Deadshot, Killer Frost again, Catman, Scandal Savage, and Bane. We had to add some characters that hadn't been used before just because, you know, we hadn't used too many Secret Six members at that point. And then it'll take a while, so let's just skip ahead to go back to the beginning. I believe now we're getting to Season 9, which started with Captain Kirk versus Han Solo. A really interesting fight. This was another one like the Fantastic Four Battle Royale I've been thinking about for a long time. And then we got Deathstroke versus Taskmaster. A fight that I thought was kind of inevitable, you know? And then Dante, I love the way Dante is positioned. That's great. Dante versus Raiden. And then we got Human Torch in a different pose. Again, adding some flavor to it. And then Iceman again. Again, with the whole fire. Like, look at that. Look how beautiful that looks. And Iceman, Black Widow, and Solid Snake. Solid Snake, I would say, is perfect. I think he's really well done. Shrek, it's so funny how tiny Shrek is compared to, like, Wreck-It Ralph. Which is true, because Wreck-It Ralph does have a big height difference over him. And then we got a Storm and Weather Wizard. This was a fight that I knew, like, if I ever got this fight suggested, I would probably do it. You know, it was that kind of thing. Miles Morales versus May Parker. Really good. And then what other fights did I get confirmed by Death Battle? I didn't even go over them, but it was Thanos versus Darkseid and Batman versus Black Panther. Those ones were also confirmed by Death Battle. It's great that all the Death Battle episodes that they've made, you know, after I did my Who and Why's, all 4 of them, you know, they're all correct now. So that's really rather awesome. And then we got Olimar, really well done. And the comic Ant-Man, still Hank Pym. Or I guess, no, in the Civil War one, it was Scott Lang. But this one's Hank Pym. And Ant-Man actually comes again 2 episodes later after Bugs versus Mickey. I like how Bugs has got the carrot in there. We got Mickey Mouse as well. I actually really like Mickey. I think he's done really rather well. And then, as you can see, we got the team battle coming, but we're almost there. Going back to the beginning. See, yeah, we got Ant-Man again. Looks a little different. Going up against Adam. It's funny because the time period between those 2 episodes being made, Olimar versus Ant-Man and Ant-Man versus Adam, was so big. But technically, they were only made, like, it was only 2 episodes apart that Ant-Man came back. Which is interesting. Ant-Man versus Adam. And then after that, if we skip ahead a little bit, it was Vision versus Red Tornado. Yep, we're going forward. Vision versus Red Tornado. One of my favorite fights. I think it was really well done. And then we got Godzilla versus King Kong, who's like bear hugging the Empire State Building, which I think is really cool. Technically, we were using Kong Skull Island for that one, but you know, I kind of like put them all together because there was kind of an explanation for like how they were all kind of like the same, portrayed to be the same Kong, so that's why I made that decision. Then after that, Alfred versus Jarvis, pretty cool fight. Definitely different fight. Added like a new flavor to the season. And then coming up, it's Venom versus Venom. Do you just skip ahead a little bit? Yep, so that was Topher Grace's Venom versus the clearly bigger Tom Hardy Venom, of course. I think they both look good. And then even like as we move forward, Lex Luthor and Doctor Doom are really well done. Then we got Stitch, the big eyes. I love Stitch. I love both Stitch and Rocket. That's another reason why I wanted to do it, because those two are two of my favorite characters. And then Ms. Marvel, I think Ms. Marvel is really nailed. And Ms. Martian, again, looks basically straight out of Young Justice. Then we got Dobby with a sock. Dobby is free. And Gollum. He does have the ring there, even though that wasn't included in the fight, but that's okay. And then we got Iron Man, and this is the whole, like, the last one that we've done so far. Avengers versus Civil War. No, not Avengers versus Civil War. Avengers versus Guardians of the Galaxy. What am I saying? I'm still on, like, Season 2 mode. I don't know. I guess these episodes just kind of blend together over time. We got Iron Man, we got Cap, we got Thor, and this is specifically from the end of 2014, of course, to make it the most fair as possible. So we got Cap, we got Thor, so this was like the Hulk and then Black Widow and Hawkeye, Star-Lord, and then Gamora. So again, this would have been like after the two Guardians movies, but before the second Avengers movie, you know, that kind of thing. Yeah, Star-Lord, Gamora, and there's Drax down there. Then we got Rocket. So Rocket again, but this time the MCU version of Rocket. And then we got Groot and Mantis. So all the way from Joker to Mantis, I guess. And that's pretty much it. Like, yeah, if we just, like, zoom out. I'm just following the video at this point. But, like, look at this thing. Look at all these characters. It's insane, right? Like, this is, like, yeah, a bird's eye view of this whole thing. This is crazy. I cannot believe, like, anyone would put the time in to, like, make all these characters, you know? It's absolutely mind-boggling to me. And how well they look, too. Like, just going over. Like, this thing extends. It keeps going for some of, like, the Battle Royales and stuff. Like, again, Heath Ledger Joker, I see Iron Man, I see... Like, it's funny because, like, looking at it from, like, this perspective, it's almost like we're looking at, like, a snapshot, like kind of like a collage snapshot of who and why. Like, just looking at some, more or less, like, some random fights, just all put together. You can do that, like, you can look at, like, the whole picture, you can, like, zoom in a little bit, but you can just look at various characters that have been on the show at some point or another. That's really cool to me. And, you know, seeing this, you know, like, and just seeing, like, how far we've come and how much we've done, it really makes me realize, you know, how awesome this kind of show is and how awesome the community is, you know? Like, of course, there have been some rough patches. Like, it's not always smooth sailing. You know, I think that's a little unfair to expect from just any sort of show or any sort of big thing or big commitment. But, you know, the whole picture... like, looking at it like this just reminds me how cool all of this is, you know? It's insane to me. So, of course, like I said before, if you want to, like, watch the video in its entirety without me, like, skipping through and stuff, or if you want the commentary from Lucas, interacting with the people watching it live, which I did also watch it live, so he interacts with me a little bit, too. You can click the link in the description. You know, I recommend it if you want to get the full picture. But, yeah, so this is basically, the whole... This is it, you know? Like, all these characters, all so well done. This is insane. This is the coolest thing I've ever seen in terms of who, when, and why. One of the coolest things I've ever seen in my entire life. Just all the characters all in one place at one time. You can just like go through it and look through all of them. Find whichever character you want. Like, was he on Who, When, and Why? Yeah. And he's right here too. You know, like that's really insane to me. So again, I want to stress enough like how much this blows my mind and how like insane this is. So again, Lucas, thank you so much for this, because this was so unexpected and so insane. Like, I know it must have taken you so long to do it, but it's the craziest thing ever. And know that I'm extremely grateful for this, because like, I'm going to look at this so much, because this is just so insane. And again, I wanted to share with all you guys too, because again, this is just the craziest thing ever. And something like this should not go unseen. So, you know, again, you know, give Lucas some support, go to the original video, go to his channel, everything like that. Again, Lucas, thank you so much for this, because this is just so insane. I know I keep saying that, but I really don't have any other words. All the characters all in one place is just the coolest thing ever. And of course, Who, When, and Why is coming soon. The first episode of Season 11, which is Mr. Fantastic versus Plastic Man, will be coming out on Sunday, April 26th. So keep in mind, keep on the lookout for that. That's like a week and a half from now. So yeah, be on the lookout for that. And yeah, that's really it. Again, this is insane, but it's also just so cool. So again, Lucas, thank you so much for all the hard work, both with helping out with the show, but also with this, because it's just the coolest thing ever. So I guess that's it for me. If you enjoyed this video, give it a like, but make sure to go support Lucas as well. Again, link in the description of the original video down below. But yeah, that's it for me. I will see all of you guys in the next video. Peace out.